Okay, let's play with a modulator. So I'm going to go down to this EXS24 track. I'm going to insert the modulator. And it's important to remember that modulators can only modulate plugins that are below it in the channel strip. That's what they're designed to do, nothing else. So let's assign it. I'll select Learn Plugin Parameter, and I'll click on a parameter on the EXS24. And really mess around with my piano. Now let's modulate the volume on the EXS24. Modulators can do this kind of stuff with their eyes closed. I mean, this is what they're designed to do. But let me show you what they cannot do. They cannot do stuff like open and close buses. You get this little window and it says this is not the kind of thing that modulators can do. Well, let's try another one. Let's say we want to modulate the pan, which is something I do all the time, as you saw in an earlier video. So I'll learn, and I'll grab the modulators can't do panning either. Well, that's why I'm going to show you how to get around all of this stuff. So let me get rid of this modulator and create a new track right below the Celtic harp here, new track. And in this track, I'm going to insert our wonderful utility, the external instrument. The external instrument does something really cool. It can send MIDI to external MIDI devices around your studio, but it can also send MIDI to the IAC bus. And this brings us full circle. So I'm going to send all that modulator's control data to the IAC driver bus 1 on MIDI channel 1. Now, if you watch my 2 previous tutorials, you know exactly what's going to happen here. But first, I've got to insert the modulator on this new track. There we go. And you can see over here in the environment that it's sending its data through the physical input, through these input devices, to the sequencer input. But I'm going to hijack it, just like I did with that note data before. So I'm going to take the output of the IAC driver bus right into this monitor object. I'm going to hold down Option. I'm going to select a different layer, right, the mixer layer, and there's all that MIDI data coming into the mixer layer, just like that note data in the previous tutorial. But this isn't note data, this is control data on MIDI channel 1, event 1. And that's important information to know, and that's what that monitor object tells you. So let's say we want to control the pan on this Steinway piano track. How do we do that? Well, first of all, we have to discover information about that pan control. So we do that with another monitor object. These monitor objects are great. So I'll connect the output of that Steinway piano channel strip into the monitor object, and I'll jiggle the pan. And there's the information we're looking for. It's fader data channel 1, event 10. And our modulator's putting out control data channel 1, event 1. Fader data is a special kind of MIDI that Logic only uses internally. It's not designed to communicate with the outside world. So how do we turn control data into fader data? Well, we use something called the transformer. What we're doing is transforming the control data coming from our modulator into the fader data that the pan control on the Steinway needs. So we're going to set a condition. The condition is it's got to be control data on channel 1 and event or data byte 1. And there you go. That's the condition. So what it's looking for, what this transformer is looking for, is control data, channel 1, data byte 1. And now we're going to put an operation on that. We're going to fix that control data to fader data. We're transforming it to fader data on the same channel because it says 1 right there. So we're fixing that to channel 1. Now we're going to event or data byte 10. We're going to fix this to 10. We've completed this transformation. So if I plug the monitor object with all that control data into this transformer and take this transformer into the Steinway piano, voila. Now we're using a modulator to control pan. And it's all being done in the environment. And it's something you can't do unless you do it in the environment. And the key to this is transforming control data into fader data using transformers. It's really unlimited, all the things you can do in the environment. And this is the essence of what I do when I perform live. So I'm selecting the Steinway piano track, and you can hear it panning. I'll go down to the modulator and slow it down a little bit. And as I play, you can hear it moving left to right. And all that's being done with a modulator that's on a different track and routed through the IAC bus into the environment. Now, I can take data from that same transformer and plug it into multiple channel strips. Again, this is something you can't do unless you go to the environment, using a single modulator to control the panning on multiple channel strips, all in perfect synchronization. Just like what I'm doing here in this massive environment I use when I perform live. So try it out for yourself. Dig in, have some fun. That's what making music's all about.